Hey man, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing, Sid?
Good man, good man, good man. Okay, let's get on with the cricket now. Let's start off with the Sri Lanka win over Australia. I think we did call it. Sri Lanka made a big score, and they did. And yeah, man, nice to see your favorite Australians getting a spanking there by innings.
Amazing, fantastic. This was a famous win for Sri Lanka. I think they outplayed Australia in all departments. I mean, that innings from
Chandima, Chandima.
Chandimal was an,
Hmm.
was an absolute epic. It was an epic. It was one of the best innings I've seen in a long time against Australia and in a test match. And yeah, I mean, this win ranks right up there, bro. I mean, if you look at all the great wins Sri Lanka has had over Australia, this has to rank right up there. And I mean, look, that lead was so important, but the way they came in and bowled Australia out in that third innings was absolutely clinical. Jayasuriya, debutant, man of the match performance.
Hmm.
Wow, that was some amazing spin bowling. And I did tell you the Australians have a weakness against spin,
Hmm.
and I could see some a little bit of complacency there from the Australians, especially in that third innings. They tried to play too many shots and got themselves in
Hmm.
a real trouble. And look,
Hmm.
this result is amazing because what happens is Australia actually dropped to second in the ICC Test Championships, and
Oh,
boy, oh boy,
oh yeah.
The Proteas go number one.
Oh,
Proteas number
woo!
one.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
so
Actually,
so
what I found more,
all
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. I saw a headline saying Sri Lanka and Pakistan are third and fourth in the table, and I found that a bit puzzling because if you look at the Sri Lankan team, they're not really worthy of being in the top five. I know I shouldn't say that after such a great performance against Australia, but they're playing at home, so you know what I'm trying to say. Pakistan, I understand because they're kind of on the up. They got a good bowling attack, batting's pretty good. So, but it's good. I mean, hopefully, but this percentage ranking system, I'll never really understand, I think, but I guess it is what it is. So, speaking of which, they are playing today, Sri Lanka and Pakistan. Bit of an interesting match. Let me just get to the. Okay, there were 222 all out Sri Lanka and Pakistan were 24 for 2. This could be a real fascinating match. And then again, it's at goal. Is goal the only cricket ground in Sri Lanka that they're playing all their matches at goal for some reason?
I guess they like the purchase that offers the spinners because I mean Gaul is a bit of a spinner's paradise, and we saw that in that third innings when the pitch sort of deteriorated and the Sri Lankan spinners could just get into their work, and that's always been the strength. And I think it's good that they're actually playing in venues where it's their strength.
Yeah,
The
but
spin
yeah,
bowling has always been their strength.
yeah, but it's not good for the development because they should play some matches at Candy. Candy, I think, is a fair match, fair ground. I think that's got pace and bounce, doesn't it, Candy? But I guess they probably fall to the bit of playing in Pakistan hands, maybe. But still, I mean, not good for the development, I guess, for the cricket. But I guess wins are the win. Guess they'll take it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think the way things are going at the moment in world cricket, and it's getting tougher and tougher to win away from home. Let's be honest, it's
Hmm.
getting tougher and tougher. Home teams obviously getting are favorable in terms of what sort of pitches they prepare. So they'll definitely
Hmm.
prepare pitches that will suit their bowling attack, which I think is in actual fact is a good thing. But obviously, I think the test of a team is actually how they play away from home. So I mean, test
Hmm.
matches you're always going to be favored at home, especially in the test arena, and with regards to conditions, because your bowlers are so clued up with those sort of conditions. So yeah, Sri
Hmm.
Lanka's test will definitely be away from home. I don't think they probably have enough in there. They really need to build on these wins. These wins are good. They're good for their rankings. It pushes them out
Hmm.
of the bottom half where I think they're much better than that. Hey, I think they're much better. I think they're probably mid-table at the moment. They're probably decent for mid-table. sort of a ranking at the moment because I mean what we've seen so far against Bangladesh and against Australia,
Yeah.
they do have something to work with, no doubt about it. But as you said, yeah,
Yeah.
it's good to play. But I do think they are playing one in Colombo as well.
Okay.
So there is a change of venue for the second test. But a little bit
That's
of
a
a
good ground,
disappointing
Colombo.
batting performance on Sri Lanka today, hey?
Yeah,
200,
7 wickets
they
were.
were probably like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they probably
Interesting,
would have.
eh? Yeah, it's interesting that 7 wickets were taken by the paceman here. Shaheen Afridi, Hassan Ali, Naseem Shah. So imagine on a spinner's ground, the pacemen have dominated in the Sri Lankan innings. I mean, to be bowled out, I mean, and then you have, in Pakistan's case, okay, this is a bit of a split here. Kasun Rajita got the 1 wicket, and then Jai Surya amongst the wickets here again. So it's split
Yeah,
50-50,
yeah.
eh?
Jasuria is he's having a dream run at the moment. But yeah, I mean, getting back to those Pakistan wickets, I mean, at the end of the day, pace is pace. I mean, if you can bowl with pace, you can get
Hmm.
purchase of any sort of pitch. So I think the
Hmm.
Pakistanis do have that extra pace, especially Shaheen, which is such a difficult customer to face, especially with his ball that goes across the right hander. Uh, and he can swing it back in. He's got that in swinger and out swinger. So, I mean, a genuine swing bowler, a real threat, especially with a new ball. I'm not surprised that Sri Lanka have battled to cope with him because I rate this guy really, really highly. I think he's a fantastic bowler.
Okay.
Uh, I think Pakistan's backup bowling wasn't the best I've seen. Especially in that Australia series, they weren't really good with their backup bowlers. But I think the backup bowlers really came to the party today. So yeah, Sri Lanka would be a bit disappointed with that total 222. I think it's below par. Eh? I think they would have wanted minimum 300.
Hmm.
But I mean,
But maybe,
if their
yeah.
bowlers, having said that, if their bowlers can really get amongst this Pakistan batting lineup, then yeah, it could be an interesting sort of game, a low scoring sort of game with
Yeah.
the way it's
Hmm.
12 wickets
Yeah.
falling on day one.
Yeah. I mean, if Pakistan,
And
my only
if wickets
worry
keep
that
on
if Pakistan, sorry?
if wickets keep on falling, I don't think this one is going to go the distance at all. It's not going to go 5 days. I'd say maximum three
Yeah.
and a half, four, probably.
Yeah. My only hope is that, well, they're two very good batsmen here. Azhar Ali, Babar Azam, and then you got Rizwan. I think there's enough good batting there, I think, to get them to the 350 mark, and I think there should be enough for Pakistan to wrap up this first test. That's just my hope.
Uh, it's not going to be that easy. Hey, I think the Sri Lankan attack,
I,
they back themselves. They back themselves in these
I
conditions. And I
know.
mean, playing in Gulf, coming off a good
Mm.
win, they're going to be buoyant. So, I mean, I expect them to bat a little better in the second innings, but let's see how it goes. Should be interesting. The Pakistani do have some really good players at the crease at the moment, likes of uh, Azhar Ali and Babar Azam, and then you got Rizwan, who's my favorite player in that team. I mean, I just love Rizwan.
Mm. Mm.
He's just a player. I
Oh,
mean,
Rizwan. Oh,
T20s.
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. Okay.
he's your coach. I think he's been the standout player in for Pakistan in 2021. In all formats, I think he really improved from the time he made his debut to his return. He was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I love that guy.
Okay. All right. Not to get off topic quickly, but on a final note, with the Australians losing to Sri Lanka, it just makes up my point that I think when Pakistan had played Australia, they got it all wrong with the pitches. I think they overestimated Australia. I thought that they could have just prepared spinning tracks if they were worried that the pace pitches they could have prepared were going to go against them. So I think they should have just stuck to those types of pitches because you could see Australia aren't so great on spinning pitches that I think Pakistan got it wrong. Hopefully, it's a lesson that when Australia do tour them, they'll prepare those sorts of stuff. Because Pakistan have good spinners, right? They're not just only pace friendly. But anyway, I digress there. So this is my
Yeah,
final thoughts on
It's,
that
it's,
topic. Yeah.
it's interesting what you say.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting what you say, because if you look at Pakistan's history, pace has always been their strength, and especially swinging the ball, all
Hmm.
ball, reverse swing. Pace has always
Hmm.
been Pakistan's strength. So
Hmm.
I- if they had to prepare a pitch that's just going to offer the patient something, then surely it would fall in their favor as well. Because I mean, pace has always been Pakistan's strength. It's not like India. Historically, the Indian side has been favoring spin bowling. It's only in
Hmm.
recent years that has developed quite a formidable pace attack. But I mean, if you look at Pakistan's history, pace has always been their strength. It's always been their strength. So
Yeah. Yeah. But I
why they
think
diverted
they.
from strength, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was a bit of an ego sort of thing. They didn't want their egos deflated and stuff, and that's why they sort of gave us these pictures. Which I mean, if I look at that series, it's really a series to forget. It was a series that we really
Yeah.
were forward to, but I think it just petered out. Not such in not such a good way, hey? Because yeah, they really had an opportunity to really put Australia under the cosh, and they blew it.
Okay, let's get to India and England quickly. Okay, India won the T20 series. They're 2-1. India took the second T20 by 49 runs. The third T20 I felt was a bit of a charity because they didn't have their best bowlers. I mean, it just felt like that. Fine, Surya Kumar Yadav really made a match out of it. Otherwise, England were pretty much the favourites, winning it from the beginning to end by 70 runs. And then if we get to the two ODIs quickly, India walloped England by 10 wickets, 110 to 114. And then the second one was a bit of a shocking one, 246 to 146, all at 100-run win for England. Who would have thought that? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, that T20 series, I wouldn't read too much into it, because I saw a lot of experimenting from England, especially with the lineups. They were giving a lot of new players a chance. So, I mean, 2-1, I wouldn't read too much into it, hey, because I think there's a couple of players that are a bit out of form there in that England lineup. One of them is Roy. For some reason, he seems to be out of sorts at the moment. And Butler as well, hey? Butler didn't really have his best series, a play of his standards. So I
Mm-hmm.
saw a lot of experimenting from that England side. So I wouldn't read too much into that result. However, India was superb. India was superb in all departments, and you can only beat the team that's put on the park. And
Yeah.
uh, I mean, I don't know what England's game plan was, but I saw a lot of experimenting, a lot of rotation in that series. There were a lot of new players that were, that came back. Some players made a comeback, guy like Topley, which has been the most impressive of all the England bowlers.
Hmm.
I think when we're gonna come to him in a short while. So yeah, if that was England's plan to experiment, then I don't think they should have any problems with that result, 2-1. Because I mean, if their aim was to get those players game time and see what they made of, uh, then I think they probably got that.
Yeah, I
So
think the
yeah,
injury they're top players. I think there are injuries there, so I don't think it was their plan. But I think, but India did some experimenting. But I think with India, they have so much depth that it just looks like they're just fielding their best side all the time. So, but in the third ODI, I just thought it was a charity because they didn't have their best bowlers, and yet it was kind of, I felt this was going to be England's win. They won the toss, they batted, and I know Michael Vaughan was calling for England to bat, especially in the second match because the pitch just got worse. But yeah, I think it's good that India's winning, even though they kind of gave up their winning run in the third ODI, third T20, sorry. So anyway, that's over and done with. And then, what are your thoughts on the ODIs? Eh? I thought India should have won the series by now, but I guess it makes it exciting for the viewers.
yeah. I mean, look, the first one was a bit of a bit of a gift to India. That performance from England in that first ODI. We don't want to talk too much about that. It was a really, really bad day at the office. I mean, getting skittled out for that sort of score. You don't really see that too much from England, because England really favor their batting. Their batting has always been the strength.
Yeah, but that
But
was a bit of
you
a
can see
bowling pitch. Yeah, but that was a bit of a bowling pitch. I'm not really surprised. If you've seen England's history on those sorts of pitches, they're pretty useless. So that's why I say if you give England those sort of pitches, they're going to struggle. So if they do play England on those types of pitches, our bowlers should enjoy themselves.
yeah, I suppose. But I mean, 50 overs is such a long time.
Yeah,
And
no,
I think
but
it's one of those formats that hasn't been very popular. It's not been very popular these days. It's not becoming 50 overs. I mean, when I first started watching cricket those years ago, I mean, 50 overs was really the most exciting format in the game. I mean, after Test cricket, but it seems like 50 overs has lost that sort of spark. It's becoming a bit predictable now in terms of how teams are actually playing it. I mean, you know what to expect in those middle overs. There's going to be a lot of ones and twos. But England, I mean, look, if you can't bat out your 50 overs, that's a bit of a criminal. That's really criminal. And I think England, in that first game, they tried to play too many shots. I think there were a lot of poor shots. Although the pitch was challenging, although the bowling was good, I think there were a lot of poor shots that we can look at and digress. But I saw a lot of poor shots from England. They were playing too many shots. And obviously a team like India, if they smell blood, you know, they're going to go for it. And fantastic bowling performance from Bumrah as well. I mean, 6 wickets. And yeah, I mean, bowlers are bossing it. And then at the home of cricket, there was another sort of one-sided game. I mean, you wouldn't have thought it's going to be that one-sided at the halfway stage, but India actually made a mess of it. They really made a real mess of this chase here, big time.
Yeah, man, I was fed up looking at that match. I didn't even watch it. I was looking at the updates. And I was just like really angry, annoyed. Just found a way of botching up a series win, but I guess I can finish it off where's the last match being played? Let me just see this quickly it's at Manchester. I think Michael Vaughan is quite praiseworthy of this pitch at Manchester. He thinks Kohli will come good in that match, and he needs to come good. He's been given a bit of a long run here. People are calling for his head, so he needs to start scoring.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a poor run for him, eh? I think we can't only talk about the international form. I think it's from the IPL. It's been a bit of a struggle, hey? It's been a slump. I mean, there've been some good scores in sprinkles, but I think for the large part of it, he's been struggling to get back to the form of where he was absolutely sensational in all formats of the game. And obviously a player of his caliber, you're going to have these sort of runs. You're definitely going to have these sort of runs. I mean, all the greats went through it, but it's how you get out of it. Hey, that's really important. I mean, the class is there, the touch is there. It's just trying to get out of this rut. I think sometimes you just need a pitch. You just need that little bit of luck. And obviously Manchester at Old Trafford, I think it's a really good pitch for batting, because I mean, I saw the World Cup game in 2019 between the Proteas and Australia, and that was a real run fest. I think the Proteas made 325, and Australia replied with 310. So it's a batting pitch. It's a batting pitch. You're going to get value for your runs there. It's a belter. I hope it's a belter, because I haven't been too impressed with these two pitches that we've had in the last two games. So I think it's high time we get a batting pitch.
Yeah, I think Michael Vaughan does. I think he didn't mind them, because he said nowadays the pitches have been so flat. It's just been like 400 scores, 350 scores. So kind of get the bowlers into it. Yeah, I'm also for it, but not so much for the bowlers. Got to be 50-50. But I guess you'll never get that in these sorts of pitches. You're either going to get one extreme or the other extreme. But I think I'm going for India to win the series, because I think it will be a good jatka for them. A Hindi word.
Yeah, if you look at both teams, I think India probably have the advantage, eh? They
But I
probably
think you'll say that
they have.
England's got the momentum. You'll probably say England's got momentum because they won the second match so well. But I think India might be more motivated to prove themselves. But who knows?
Look, I think the toss is going to be crucial. Hey, I think whoever wins the toss and bats first definitely is going to have an advantage because I think that pitch is really going to offer great run scoring. So yeah, the toss is going to be crucial. Hey, the toss is going to be crucial. Yeah, uh, yeah. I mean, if you're looking at both bowling attacks, they look pretty good. But I think India's is probably much more stronger.
Hmm. Hmm.
They
Hmm.
have a lot more experience in that bowling attack. So I think
Hmm.
India probably edged in terms of the bowling. But with the batting, it's kind of like 50-50, eh? Both teams have powerful hitters. Both teams have fantastic batsmen. So, but I just think India obviously have that edge with the bowling.
Okay, on a final note, I know I spoke to you briefly on WhatsApp, but man, Bangladesh have really surprised me, eh? I didn't see this happening. Bangladesh skittling West Indies out so cheaply in the first two ODIs. I mean, who would have thought that? Disgusting. I saw the highlights, but I don't think the West Indies batsmen applied themselves. It was really bad. And if West Indies play like this, don't even think they even deserve to make the World Cup. As it is, I think we're going to have to qualify for it because we sacrificed the ODIs in Australia. But I'm not worried. Even if we play qualified, I think we have enough talent in the ODI team to make the World Cup, even through qualifications. And I think it'll be our pride and our ego. I don't think in the history of South African cricket, I don't think we've never not made a World Cup, even if you go through qualified. It'll actually be a good jatka for us. I'm using that word again because for the fact that we have to work so hard to go through that qualifiers, to go through the World Cup, I think we'll be mentally stronger, tougher, mentally, emotionally. What do you say?
Yeah, I know. I mean, looking at years gone by, I think the one day format was probably the one format that really didn't give me that much stress, hey, because I think the Proteas always had a fantastic ODI team. But I mean, currently, but the ODI team is definitely a side that needs a little bit more work. The ODI team definitely needs a lot of work at the moment. It's still a work in progress, and I mean, we saw it in the Bangladesh series as well. They were good performances, and there was some really the final game was a really poor display. So
Hmm.
the one day side really it's not where it needs to be at the moment. But having said that, I think you know beating England in this ODI series coming up is really good motivation, eh? To qualify for that World Cup because you try and you need to try and get those wins in now. But I think having said that, the Australia series has been postponed. Uh, Surely CSA needs to look at re-arranging another series with Netherlands because I mean Netherlands obviously was supposed to complete their tour last year and obviously they went away because of COVID. They need to reschedule that series because they really
Hmm.
need some points on the board. So I
Yeah, I
think
don't think we're
CSA
gonna.
really needs to look at that.
I don't think we're gonna make it. I think we're gonna have to go through qualifications, and I'm okay with that. I've resigned myself to it. So it'll be a good wake up call for us if we have to go through qualifications to win all those matches. I don't think the teams in the qualification phase should really threaten us if we play to our potential. Like I know you might be worried if you go through the qualifiers, but I think it'll be a good wake up call for us. So I'm not that worried. I'll be very shocked if we don't make it even through the quali. So just my thoughts on it. Even through the Asian conditions, because there's good preparation, it might give us a head start actually.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would love to have qualified, the normal way, but
Hmm.
I mean, I don't see what the I can't make sense of any of this world, sorry, this world, what do you call it? This ODI
Ranking system.
ODI table. Yeah, I mean, I always obviously like to base it on rankings, and I mean, the top eight, whoever they are, need to get, you know, need to get automatic qualification. I think this World Cup Super League really doesn't make any sense to me, hey? And it hasn't made
Yeah.
any sense to me from the start because, I mean, you whitewashed India 3-0 at home, and obviously you couldn't get any points, World Cup Super League points on that because that series wasn't deemed as a Super League series, but the one that was postponed, the Netherlands one, was
Oh,
a
no
Super League
wonder they
series, which
played. Oh,
I mean,
no wonder.
this
Okay, okay.
this really is
Uh,
it's so insane. I mean, to think about it, it's really insane. Doesn't make any sense. The World Cup Super
hmm,
League doesn't make any sense to me at all. There's absolutely no clarity. I mean, the World Test
hmm,
Championship, it's so much more easier to understand, sir, because you're getting value for every match. Every match has value in it. But the World Cup Super League didn't have value in every single match because I mean, obviously, if you're going to whitewash India at home 3-0, you know, and that doesn't stand as World Cup Super League points. It makes absolutely no sense to me because every series should count for something. I mean, obviously, if you
yeah,
lose a series, you understand there's going to be series losses along the way. There's not going to be a side
hmm,
that's going to
hmm,
be winning every single series.
hmm,
But the World Cup Super League and its format has made absolutely no sense to me. And that is
hmm.
why I'm so anti ICC. I'm always been anti ICC. I don't like the way they run things. I mean, the World Test
Yeah.
Championship was a fantastic format because I mean, Test cricket needed that sort of
Hmm, hmm,
that
hmm,
shake up. Test cricket was getting
hmm,
a bit mundane. Needed that shake up,
hmm.
and we got that for the World Test Championship. But the
Yeah,
World Cup Super League, it makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't know if you can
yeah.
gather any sense of that. It makes absolutely no sense to me because there's some series that are obviously are deemed as World Series, Super League points, and some series are not. So makes absolutely no sense to me. Every game should count for something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that to make everybody feel, I was thinking that they should have triangular series, like whereby, for example, like the lower nation like Ireland, Netherlands, Afghanistan, you should have a situation whereby you could have, let's say, New Zealand, Ireland, or you have India, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, have these small triangular series. That way you get all these teams getting experience, especially like the lower team, and they can also, then you can have points counting towards all that. Make it more inclusive, something like that. I would prefer that system, but I don't know if they'll ever do it. I think they used to have triangular series back in the day. I don't know why it stopped. I know, what's that guy's name? I know that Ravi Shastri is not a fan of the long-winded bilateral series. He prefers the soccer system whereby they have the franchise system and then teams just go into the World Cup phases and then just play the World Cups. What do you think? Should we follow the football system?
I'm also not a fan of those bilateral series as well. I actually prefer what you mentioned with the triangular because I think with the triangular series you get a taste of where you are as a team because I mean you're not just playing against one team, you're playing against two teams. So you obviously got to test your skills against two teams as opposed to one. So it's very beneficial. One, obviously for points and also for your team's experience. So the ICC, I think this is where FIFA is really, I mean, on top of things because when it comes to growth, football growth, I mean, across the globe and spreading the game, they obviously are
Mm,
magnificent at that. I think ICC, there were a lot of potential in a lot of teams, especially like Kenya, the likes of
mm,
Kenya.
mm,
I think they've paid attention to Zimbabwe as well. Uh, they just haven't invested enough in these sides,
yeah.
these associate teams, to the point where they can actually host their own matches. Obviously you want to grow the game, and you can't have a
Yeah.
World Cup where there's just 10 teams. You got to have more than that. I mean, it's a World Cup for Pete's sake, and there's so many countries in the world, and you want to grow this game, and you want a lot
Yeah.
more teams to get this status because I think at the moment, if you look at Test cricket, it's quite an elite game. Let's be honest, it's quite an
Mm,
elite game. There's so
yeah.
many teams. There's so few teams that are actually playing it at the elite level. When I'm saying actually playing a lot of Test matches, because I mean, uh, I know Australia and India are going to play 5 tests in the next series, which is absolutely insane. I mean,
Five
that's like a
tests.
money spinner for me. 5 tests.
Five tests
They move
where?
it to five
Where in?
tests. It doesn't matter. I think it's home or away. but they're going to
Oh,
obviously add another test to that series. So it's going to
you
be
mean
five
5 tests in
tests.
Australia? 5 tests in Australia?
Yeah, it's going to be 5 tests in India or 5 tests in Australia. So it's going to be a 5 test series
Wow,
now. It's not going to
that's
be a
a
4 test
lot of
series like they used to.
wow, that'll be a lot
That
of money being made.
that's a lot of that is a lot of money. So it seems like that is where ICC is actually putting all the attention in, which is not a bad thing because I think there's a lot of other sides that also deserve at least a 4 test series, like the
Hmm.
Proteas. I
Yeah, we
think the
used to
Proteas
get
deserve a 4 test
we used
series.
to back in the good
Besides
old days. We had
Australia.
5 tests. I remember we had 5 tests against England in the good old days. Hey, man, we spanked England in those good old days.
Yeah, the good old days, hey, the good old days. I mean, I actually used to like those 5 test series, but anyway, I don't mind four. I don't mind 4 test series. 4 test series is fine. I don't mind four, but anything lower than that, I just feel it's a
Yeah.
bit of a disrespect.
No, but I think we've digressed quite a bit. We haven't given me your thoughts on what you think of Bangladesh is whipping up the West Indies. You think it's all West Indies being crap, or you think Bangladesh are really on the up and are one of the potential contenders for this upcoming Asian World Cup? I think they are. It's in Asia. They have good spinners. As long as the pitches do take turn in the 50 over World Cup, Bangladesh will be dangerous. But if they're really flat like pancakes, which I highly doubt, especially in India, I think we should really watch out for them, eh?
I spoke about this team the last, on our last show, and this is a really dangerous team. I mean, this is not a side to be taken lightly, especially in one day. In
Mm,
the one day format, this is
mm,
a team that's on the up. This is a team that's on the up because I think come World Cup time,
mm,
2023 next year, October, November, this is
mm,
going to be a side to
mm,
watch. This is really one of those dark horses. This is a side. I mean, they're not a side that's just going to cause upsets. They're a side that wants to qualify out of the group comfortably and into the knockouts. I
mm,
mean, don't take this lightly at all because I mean, what you saw in South Africa was no fluke. It was no
mm,
fluke.
mm,
It was a team performance. They've got the bowlers now that they can compete away from home, and we saw it in New Zealand as well when they won the Test
mm.
series with their bowlers, and then they came down here. Obviously, they got smashed in the Test series, but I mean the one dayers was really, really was a fantastic performance from them, and an historic win for them in SA. Although I thought SA were under par, but I think you got
Mm.
to give them credit. This is a team on the up. It's a really dangerous side. I wouldn't be taking them lightly anytime soon, eh?
Okay, on a final note, I'm sure you would have watched the tennis, your favorite tournament, Wimbledon. I was so upset. None of the one that I wanted actually won. The lady from Africa didn't win, but the lady that won was good looking, so I guess that was a bit of consolation. Was a consolation, but something to get over eventually. And then Kyrgios losing to Djokovic in 4 sets. I was hoping he would have upset him, but I think it's all more about what's in the mind than more in the game. I think Kyrgios had his opportunities, but he just didn't keep it up after the first set. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think if you look at both games, I think the underdogs obviously won the first set. Let's think about the underdogs
Okay.
won their first set, so they were already hyped up for the game. But then when it came to that second, third, fourth set, obviously with the men's final, you could see the experience come through, especially a player like Djokovic. I mean, all the experience in the world. I told you, I mean, one of the best return servers in the game. Uh,
Hmm.
Kyrgios, Kyrgios is a fantastic server. I mean, some of those aces were out of this world. It was fantastic to watch. But I think he's got to work on his return game if he actually wants to become a Grand Slam champion. Anytime soon. But he's a player that I think sort of needs to channel his emotions a bit. He gets a bit flustered on the court. If he can do that, I think he's going to be a dangerous player in the future. And I think he can break that Grand Slam bogey and win a Grand Slam.
But like, what were your thoughts on the female finals? You thought that Jabir should have won it, or you think the lady was just too good?
Look, Jabir had a fantastic run right till the final, and
Hmm.
look, I didn't actually watch a lot of the game, but I think
Okay.
sorry, Elena, Elena, trying to get her surname, Rebekina.
Yeah,
I thought
Rebecca,
she
yeah.
obviously had an advantage with height,
Yeah.
and that obviously came to the fore in that second and third set when Jabir was getting a bit tired. But
Hmm.
fantastic first set from her, and you could see the same thing with Kyrgios as well. I mean, Kyrgios just ran out of steam in that third and fourth set. I mean, Djokovic equal with the great Pete Sampras now, and one away from Federer, the king of Wimbledon. So I mean, that's under threat. And
Hmm.
I think I felt disappointed for Nadal, especially. I felt disappointed for Nadal not making not making it because of injury. Because I thought this was going to be a special year for him. Because Djokovic
Hmm.
obviously is not going to be allowed to go to the US to
Hmm.
participate in the US Open because of, I mean, we know why. We're not going to get into that part
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
COVID vaccine and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that was a fantastic opportunity. But with Novak not being there, I think Kyrgios has a chance in New York now, eh? In that
Yeah, I
in
was thinking about that.
Yeah,
Especially if you have no Nadal, if Nadal doesn't play US Open because of his injury, and if you have no Djokovic playing because of the vaccine stance, then yes, I could see him or Federer being contenders if those two play to their potential. Could be quite a fun final if you have Federer and Kyrgios in the final. Two of Federer's my favorite, but yeah, it'll be Federer's best opportunity to have a winner Grand Slam after so long if those two don't play. Fingers crossed, eh?
absolutely, absolutely. You got to put Kyrgios in the mix now. I mean, if Nadal is going to miss due to injury, and as you said, no vax with his vaccine stance, no vax with his vaccine stance. So Kyrgios, I mean, mate, I mean, if you look at the Wimbledon so far, I mean, I told you, I mean, obviously Djokovic was the best player, but I think, I mean, after Nadal, I think Kyrgios has deserved his
Mm,
spot in the Wimbledon final. This is
mm,
a player in the up, and
yeah.
one of the threats for the US Open as well. So I think he should definitely be one of the top seeds going into the tournament.
Mm,
He's a side, and he's a player that the rest of the opponents need to watch out for because this guy is an absolute amazing first. I mean, he's a great first server. You know, he's just got to work on his
mm.
return game. But I mean, he can. This guy's got a lot of skills up his sleeve.
What was I gonna?
He's got
Okay,
a
any
lot of power.
final
He's
words?
got power in his game.
Yeah, yeah. Curious. I think it's more in the mind than his game. I think he's fine. I think his mental let him down. Also, he's got different priorities. I guess he doesn't like view tennis as a be all or end all, which is fine. Everyone's entitled to their thoughts. So I think it's true. I mean, he's not someone that lives and breathes tennis. He's more like he's competitive, but he's not someone that's gonna like cry about losing 24/7. So I think it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
that is what I mentioned about before the Wimbledon final. That this guy is super competitive, and what I saw from him in that first set, I saw competitiveness. So this guy is a
Mm.
competitor. He's super competitive, and if you're super
Mm.
competitive, you're gonna be always gonna be dangerous, no matter who the
Mm.
opponent is.
Yeah, man. Any final words before we wrap up?
I think we pretty much covered it.
Oh, okay. So I guess we shall chat again soon.
Cheers, sir. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Chat to you soon.
You too, man.